Start our discussion. This is for CFA level 1. We will discuss today economics, that is study session 4, and broadly we'll discuss demand and supply and the market conditions. This is what is our topic of the day, demand and supply analysis. We'll see the introduction. Before I go for explanation, we should know what is a demand. If I have a dream, I want to buy a Lamborghini, for example. So far it is a dream. If I check my bank account and money is little less, so that cannot be classified as demand. It can be only a desire or a wish. In economics, we consider anything demand that we have a plan and we have purchasing power for it. When we have money and we have an idea, we want to execute these both, then of course this will be a demand. There is a direct inverse relation between price and demand. As generally price goes up, demand generally goes down. And this is for necessities where people cannot increase their income, so ultimately they have to cut down to their demands and they have to find alternative sources of consumption because this is related to necessities. But luxuries does not follow this trend. If you want to go on the top of the Burj Khalifa or any other holiday resorts you want to book and you want to enjoy, and you have money and this is an icon, it's a status, you have to go for it no matter it gets $100, $150. So for luxuries, law of demand goes other ways, and for necessities is proven that as prices goes up and demand for that particular goods immediately start going down, and people start feeling that what is the other alternative, so because they cannot increase their income in short runs. So the first topic is that what are the factor of productions, that is generally raw material, labor. Firms will buy, we have product markets where goods and services and finished goods are available. So we will have firms are selling, so it's a cycle. You have consumers, you have producers. We consume, producer produces. Again, this cycle keep going, which create demand and supply. Intermediate markets are ones firms finish product components used in the production of another firm's output. So for example, I make one component which is I will sell it to you, you will manufacture maybe this, you will sell it to someone else. So this one process might take 5 or 6 hands in terms of buying and selling. That will create an economic activity in general. Demand curve is generally like this. So when I see you, I recognize your face and I know your names, so I can recall. Same way when you see this kind of curve, even there is no right and left, I can see this is a demand curve, because as the price goes up, demand goes down, so it is always downward sloped. Right? So this is supply curve, this is demand curve. Demand curve is a function of price, it's a function related to demand. Now as I told you, quantity will increase, price will decrease, vice versa, means price will go up, demand is going to be down. There could be several things in terms of demands. For example, when we used to earn say $1,000, we used to go to a restaurant which was relatively suiting to our income, $1,000. And now once we make like say $30,000, so we go to a restaurant who is suiting to $30,000, right? So income change our patterns of consumption, right? Previously, the first car, if you belongs to a big family, of course that's another way. But if you are a self-made, you are growing by your own efforts, the first car will always be a smaller car, right? Then once you will have more income, you will have a higher and higher and higher. This is how every normal person goes. So as your income is going to be up, your demand lifestyle pattern pattern, brands, clothes, everything is going to be changed. So income is the first determinant, but of course there are some other ways who affects your demand. For example, your taste, and fashions, maybe fashion change, particular jackets no one is buying and there is a new type of jacket, people will switch to the new demand, right? So income, taste, fashion, timings, and so many factors will determine your demand. This is what he says, that individual income, price of related products, and many other factors can change the demand patterns. Quantity supplied, let's opposite, we will see as the price is going up, supplier is increasing the supplies. So ideally, demand is from consumer point of view. In general, we all, if we go to a store and we find that the things are getting expensive, we say, okay, there's no difference between this and this, so give me this one, right? We try to be economical and optimized. That is from demand, is from consumer point of view, but supplier, law of supply is from producer point of view. If you are a manufacturer, you are a producer, you are a business person, then you will try to make those things more which is growing in price in the market, right? That's why price goes up. You as supplier will be more interested to supply that quantity. So there is a direct relation between price and quantity supplied from a producer point of view, right? When you feel that this thing is highly sellable in the market and the price is going up, you will invest your money and you will start manufacturing and you will supply to the market. You will get more money as a manufacturer, right? If the price is going down, you will not try to make too much, because the same stock that you made will be depreciated, like it will decrease the value, market value, not the accounting value, of course. So he says that price of good PX, cost of production. Generally, labor cost will increase your cost of production. If in a country we have less people but more work, so worker is more in demand, so his salary, everything will become expensive. Nowadays, more supply of people and less employment opportunities, so salary rates are coming down, right? So it's a demand and supply forces. Material cost increase, cost of production will increase. What is cost? Cost is material, labor, and overheads. This is in accounting portion we are going to discuss. Productivity, production overheads, technology change can change the supply. For example, manually I can make 100 shoes in say one day. If I bring technology, machines, they work faster than human beings, I can make 10,000. So that will be a technological effect that is going to change my supply. Many other factors may be added in terms of knowing the supply factor, like timing, again the weather conditions, other factors. Change in price cause movement along the supply and demand curve. So this is a demand curve, right? And if it is here, if your price goes up, now your demand is squeezed. This is we saw before, that this is a normal demand curve. When the price was less, we have more demand, but now demand is squeezed from Q0 to Q1 because of the change in price. So effects can be shown by a curve, that's more easier. This curve will explain a lot of things. See, this is original demand, right? So in economics, by using curve, if I want to show that demand is increasing, the best way is show it to the right side, right? If you see your right side, it goes up, means increase. If you put it on the left side, it is going to decrease. Same for supply and same for demand. So see, this is a demand curve. If I want to show increase, I will move the curve towards right or up. If I want to show the decrease in its demand, I will move it to the left here. Okay, this is supply. See, original curve is this, For example, if I want to increase, I will move to the right side. This is your right? Check here. This is your right side and this is your left side. So you can memorize this way. If through using curve we want to show increase, we will move it to the right, otherwise we will move to the left side. So he says, what are the changes in factor? As I told you, for demand, income change, our lifestyle will change. When we have more money, we have more luxury, more fun. If we have less money, we have less fun and less luxury and more only necessities. Price of the substitute, if today BMW is available in the Toyota price, no one will buy Toyota, they will buy BMW because it's a higher brand, right? So people change their demand if there are substitutes available, and if they feel it is better, they will move on. Price of complementary goods goes this way. These are made for each other goods. For example, fuel and the car, right? Bread and the butter, they are made for each other. You have to complement to each other, right? So if you make fuel prices expensive, cars prices will go down because there will be a recession. People will not buy cars because they cannot afford the fuel. So complementary goods, create a common effects for them. Then we have changes in other factors. If the curve raw material prices goes up, producer will have a higher cost of production. He is not going to make a lot of things, right? If you have $100, raw material is $80, it becomes $95. So of course you have to reduce your consumption because your total resources does not allow you to make a lot of things. Then we have labor cost. It will affect, of course, and overheads. If fuel, petrol, taxes, everything will increase, the supply will decrease automatically. Okay, then we have, he says, market supply is aggregate of supply function of the firm in. So he made two equations, one is supply and one is market, and he equate them and get the slope coefficient of supply curve. So if you put in that anywhere, you will have a value for supply and value for the demand. This curve is interesting. How it works is there is a supply curve and there is a demand curve. Where they intersect each other, it is a point called price or equilibrium. How it goes, I will tell you. See, we'll go to shopping mall and we saw something and we asked how much is the price. Salesman said this is $500, right? So you said no, this is too expensive, give me $300. They will say, okay, you are my customer, so I will not refuse you, let's fix it in $400. So what you did is, there was a supply, you were the demand, right? Where you agrees, it become a price. So all prices, like when we go to buy a Nestle juice, Kit Kat, Dairy Milk or any other things, there was a supply, there is a supplier and there are demands. Where they meet each other's, it becomes the price, right? So this is equilibrium quantity and price. And we have marginal cost and marginal benefits. If you feel as a consumer that the money you spend is less and the benefit you get is more. So in modern management sciences language, you are a valued customer, right? But in economics, we say you are in consumer surplus. And if it is opposite, then you are in consumer deficit. Right? If you are in deficit, you will not like the company and the product, and sale will affect, and ultimately company will go in losses, right? The other way, we have to keep things in surplus, means whenever you go to a restaurant, you eat something and you feel it's worth of, and you come out and you tell people and you bring them again with you. This is the success of any kind of restaurant. And when you will do, when your perceived cost, means the cost, the money that you paid and the benefit that you are going to get out of that is really more than your cost, right? Then you will be in great player. We could have movements, we can see the movements. This is the demand curve, this is the supply curve. If you move it here, then this will increase the price. If you move it here, it will decrease the price. So there are movements, we can play with the curves to see that if this is constant, supply is changing, what will be the effect on equilibrium. If we keep demand constant and play with the price, and we can see what will be the effect on supply. So all curves easily understandable. This is also a move that there are two things. He's saying suppliers increase production due to the prices. So the equilibrium previously was here, now move it to here, right? Let's discuss stable and unstable equilibrium. Unstable demand is something that is mature and regular, recurring nature. Sometimes demand is irregular, not recurring nature, so it becomes unstable. Someday too much demand, someday very less demand. This is how it moves. So market forces move price and quantity back to the equilibrium. This is stable. Means today if the rent prices start going up, suddenly real estate authority, other people will start coming and they were regulating. So price should not go to an extent where citizen or residents will get in trouble, right? This is regulated market. This is stable. When there is something going to up and down, market forces will keep it pushed back and it will become to the normal. But always it's not possible. If the downward sloping supply curve must cut demand curve from above to reach stable equilibrium. So same way this is stable because it's the normal demand curve and supply curve. Here you can say excess demand is going to create unstable equilibrium. Here excess supply is going to create stable equilibrium because it's excess demand, and unstable equilibrium will be of this flow that will be too much into inverted curves. So the main force behind this curve is, the reason to understand is the pattern of demand and supply, and if you exceed demand and supply is not available, it will be a problem for the market. Suppose we have 10 DVDs in the shop and there are 100 people to buy, and so seller can do anything. He will say, okay, not $100, like now I will sell in $1,000, because he knows that the consumer is dying to buy and there is a limited supply. So it will destabilize the market normal mechanism, right? People will not be able to, all people will not be able to buy this. Moving forward, same question, he put it there and he get this equilibrium. This is more in questioning part. When we'll go to the questions, then we will solve these equations. Supply, we have demand. If we equate them, because what is equilibrium is supply is equal to demand. So we can get the missing figure and we can put in the equation. That will be more appropriate to follow. That's the same. Moving forward, in all economies we have auctions. Auctions, tenders, bids, these are some common ways companies use. How, for example, suppose you have a car and you want to sell it, and it is a royal car, like, so everyone has an equal chance to have the opportunity to own it. So you will have an auction. You will find prospective buyers. So these are auctions. Auctions are anyways. It can be an open auction. It can be a matching price. For example, this is the price. Who is going to match? So people will give a counter offer in the auction, and based on the conditions, they will see how it works. Tenders are different. That is not our discussion. Auctions are. We're going to discuss. He says alternative market for establishing equilibrium prices, because we're talking about demand and supply, and auction is the open example of it, because there is a supply, there is someone who want to do auction for his items, and there are prospective demands who want to buy this. So this is a best example.